peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, Africa, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi. Thank you very much. In Nairobi, the general headquarters, we have Miriam Ogutu. Good morning, Miriam.
A very good morning to you, Doctor, and the rest of the panelists and our viewers, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. In Malindi, we have another lady by name Karen Joseph, our legacy correspondent from the coast. Karen Joseph, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Dr. Matsanga, and the rest of the panel, together with the viewers. This is Karen Joseph from Malindi.
Thank you very much, Karen Joseph from Malindi. Right in the studio, we have special guests, in-house guests, and a special man himself who does special assignments. When they send him, he doesn't leave you standing. You go down. Major, retired, Bijiwe. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Matsanga and the entire crew. Happy to join the professor, to join Karen and Miriam and yourselves in this morning's debate. We will see kama kitaeleka hapa. Let's do it.
Sasa, asante sana. The man on the battlefield who clears the souls of souls, he prays for the souls. If we go beyond the limit, pulls back by softening our souls in prayer. Professor Chaplain Jared Onyari in CPD of Nairobi. Thank you, Professor.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga and my fellow panelists and our viewers this morning.
Thank you very much, Professor. From the Political Command Center, myself, Dr. David Matsanga, son of Soil, miles away from Nairobi. Thank you. In Kenya, Miriam, this morning, the topic is very clear. Is it constitutionalism or Mafia-dom? It is constitutionalism versus Mafia. The CRA formula. Does the Senate change the law of what the law that governs the country has said through CRA? Or is it the Parliament of Kenya that changes the law? The Parliament, the National Assembly of Kenya makes rules on money bills. It does not give the Senate a chance to make a rule, then bring it to the National Assembly. The rule originates from the National Assembly as directed by the National Assembly. And the senators are supposed to just look through whether they are typing statements, errors, that's all. But they don't change the format, the formula of what the institution of CRA has done. They can suggest, and the CRA can go back to public participation. The senators also can only go to the public participation theory, sit down in Kamukunji where there is public participation, all right, but they don't change the law. For these last 2 weeks, we have seen a bonanza in the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. We have seen one senator by name Senator Murkomen Out of the hours that they sit in Parliament, in the Senate, he has taken over 7 hours on the floor talking. In total, for all these weeks, since this debate started, the 8th time, the total of his talk comes to about 7 hours in total. We have seen him manipulate the speaker, rising on point of order to propose a motion, and the speaker overlooked over that issue. The motion came on the floor when standing orders are point of order does not proceed, and you go to make a motion which is substantive and it is discussed. If it was a point of order, this should have ended there. The speaker allowed the gap. The blood started flowing on the floor, amending or adding, even increasing, even repeating what Orengo had already put on the motion the other week. The speaker ruled that this motion was different from Orengo's, yet it was saying the same thing. We want Kenyans to understand where the trouble of this country is coming. The trouble of this country is coming from the shrinkage of constitutionalism. We make a good constitution, but we shrink it, we eat it, we mutilate it, we cut it, we pocket it, we use it badly. I'm making this powerful opening statement so that the world can know. Chapter 12 of your Constitution, chapter 203 of your Constitution. What do they say? What is the role of the Senate? The role of the Senate is oversight. It's not increasing the money. It's an oversight role. It is not the role of the Senate to draft money bills. It is the role of the Parliament of Republic of Kenya, which is headed by Speaker Munturi, who can draft any money bill. That will go a long way to oversight, to help the Senate to oversight. The Senate has no role to change the formula without public participation. Therefore, Patriana Were, by saying we need to go back, because even if you pass Sakaja's motion, and this man who came from Maua Meru, somewhere there, arrived with some from the market, data from the market, and delivered it on the Senate. Even if you pass them, Wamutata is waiting to go across the bridge to stop it. Why? There was no public participation. The only institution in the Republic of Kenya mandated, allowed to conduct public participation on the formula of any change of the law, the existing law, is the CRA. Therefore, those articles, therefore, Article 203, Chapter 1, 2 of our Constitution, of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, what does it say? What is the oversight mechanisms, role? What are senators supposed to oversight? The senators in Nairobi have overplayed their roles in Kenya. They summon ministers to do what? Ministers are summoned by Parliament. I have never seen ministers summoned in the United Kingdom by the House of Lords. The House of Lords can only summon you when the matter is beyond. And then when they are sitting in court, we don't have a Supreme Court in United Kingdom. We have the House of Lords. They turn themselves into judges. They sentence you or throw back the case to the old bailey for sentencing. But I've never seen the Senate summoning the Minister of Foreign Affairs to go and sit before them. Time has come for Kenyans to actually seriously start debating this. Is the law, the CRA, does it make the formula? Can the Senate discuss the CRA formula, change it, mutilate it, subdivide it? Yes or no? That's the answers I want to know from my panel today, which is full of wisdom. And I want us, since Mr. Major retired Bijiwe is about to run for another meeting, let's start with Major retired Bijiwe. Bwana Bijiwe, you have heard my introduction.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Matanga, and I greet our viewers all around the world. Indeed, I think we are in a storm in a cup. This is basically a needless storm. It's interesting that for almost a month, debate is going on in the Senate on the revenue, division of revenue, allocation of revenue. And they can't just seem to agree. Of course, it has come down to filibustering and things like, undercutting each other, undermining each other. It has now turned to political supremacy. It's about party loyalty or disloyalty. And then now it has zeroed down to 2022 politics, unfortunately. And the one big question everyone is asking in their minds is, why are we fighting about division of revenue now, allocation of revenue now? And since 2013, we've not had this fight before. Yes, mistakes were made. And in the first place, we needed to have this working formula from the word go. The technocrats employed by Kenyans to make sure revenue is equitably shared amongst the Kenyans failed us at the very onset, because we should not be reviewing a formula now, 7 years down the line into the new constitution since 2010. Actually, it's 10 years and 7 years of the new administration, Uhuru administration. So I think we are in what they call storm in a cup. We've caused a storm in a cup that is needless. And it's very, very shameful that our political players just can't agree on a critical issue as this. In fact, let it be on record to the senators and anyone else who wants to play into this storm that this matter touches very, very closely to the Kenyan citizenry. This is unlike other things that they fight about there in the parliament, where they fight about increasing their own salaries. The other week about giving or increasing pension to former MPs and members of parliament. Those things sometimes don't quite touch on us, even though we are the ones who foot the bill. But this issue of revenue allocation is directly touching to us. It's about what we get as Kenyans by serving our country. It is very, very disheartening. and I leave it to Dr. Matsanga and other experts to even break it down to individual senators and their reasons of voting how they voted. Some have actually thrown away their party loyalties. It's zero loyalty to party leaders and party positions, so they could advance a certain narrative. It's very unfortunate, and I say, Dr. Matsanga, with no shame on my face, we are very, very unfortunate to find ourselves in this position as a nation.
Thank you very much, Major Retired Mbijiwe. Is it the problem of the Senate, senators, or is it the problem of the Speaker of the Senate? Let's go deeper. Miriam, give us just guidelines, those rules. What is the Senate supposed to do? Just in brief, then you will come back after each one has made a comment. You take over. Some of us want to debate this up to heaven.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor there, and also retired Major Mbijiwe. Now, I have with me Article 216, Functions of the Commission on Revenue Allocation, and also Article 217, Division of Revenue, how the CRA is supposed to follow a certain criteria there, and also Article 203, Doctor, that you've quoted there, that is the equitable share and other financial laws that they have to consider before, CRA has to consider before, allocating or making recommendations on how, the revenue is supposed to be shared in the country. So once every 5 years, the Senate shall, by resolution, that is Article 217 on division of revenue in the Constitution of Kenya, it says, every 5 years, the Senate shall, by resolution, determine the basis for allocating among the counties the share of national revenue that is annually allocated to the county level of government. And in determining the basis of revenue sharing under Clause 1, the Senate shall take the criteria in Article 203, that is the equitable share and other financial law, and also request and consider recommendations from the Commission on Revenue Allocation, and also consult the county government, cabinet secretary responsible for finance and organizations of the county governments, and invite the public, including professional bodies, to make submissions to it on the matter after the Commission of Revenue shares, what their proposals. And within 10 days after the Senate adopts a resolution under Clause 1, the Speaker of the Senate shall refer the resolution to the Speaker of the National Assembly. Within 60 days after the Senate resolution is referred under Clause 3, the National Assembly may consider the resolution to vote to approve it or with or without amendments, or to reject it. So actually it is the Parliament that can make certain amendments, Doctor, there, as you had mentioned there earlier. So basically that is just a small overview on the role of Senate when it comes to the division of revenue according to Chapter 2, Article 217 of the Kenyan Constitution.
Thank you very much. Hold it fire. Professor Onyali, it is now very clear that under Article 217, whether you debate up to Jerusalem, you enter Jerusalem, throw away the thieves from the temple, you have to refer this matter back to the National Assembly. That is all. We are wasting time. Why is the Senate wasting taxpayers' money if they are not only collecting handouts from the master who is breaking this country? Why is the Senate? It's very clear. Why is the Senate wasting time to discuss something that will be shot down by the National Assembly? You heard yesterday, Mr. Badi, the minority leader said, the Senate does not make any law on money bill. The Senate goes through and forwards this matter to the National Assembly. So why are we wasting the taxpayers' money? Why is this debate here? Why don't we listen? Why didn't we listen to the reason of Orengo? Why didn't we listen to the reason of Kangata? Why didn't we listen to the reason of Madame Were, who is saying, let the counties get the money on the current situation as it is. Postponed this thing for 2 years. While further, you see the Senate is supposed to have called everybody again from this Article 2017 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. They didn't call anybody. Onyari.
Thank you, Dr. Mas. That good question, and no on that of saying that this country, including some of the senators, matters to do with public finances on Chapter 12 of the Constitution. Every article gives one to do, and the revenue allocation, Dr. Masanga, it is a process. It is not something you wake up, go to an hotel, eat mandas, and then you decide that be equal. The Constitution says that we have to equitably is to do with fairness and impartiality. So the senators have failed. I have said, even if it could have not been bad, I was prepared because I promote rule of law and good governance. If they pass that motion, be assured I'm with Umtata, we have to stop this. The law must be followed. They don't have that mandate. They are only doing unnecessary politics. And in fact, let me tell you, as much as I want to be very harsh on the senators, the man who is bringing all this confusion is the Speaker of the Senate. One, he doesn't understand the law, and now I can understand, during his time as a governor, why a wheelbarrow will cost 110,000. I can now understand. He is the one who is causing confusion. When a motion has been defeated, he knows very well through the standing orders. It has to come after 6 months. Why was he entertaining Murkomen's motion? So what I'm trying to see, as Major Tad Mbijiwa said, is politics of 2022, and the Senate has failed the test of being of being nationalistic, being patriotic, and on which is being promoted and which is being tackled through the BVI. They have failed. Dr. Masanga, what is happening in the Senate is dividing the country. What the president and the prime ministers want to do is to build a united Kenya. So in terms of this one, they have failed. They don't have the mandate, and let us stick to the Constitution. If we are unhappy with any section of the Constitution, there is a process, Article 255, 256 of the Constitution, on how we amend and remove. As it is now, they are usurping the powers of Commission of Revenue Allocation. And I've said it is a process. When the Commission comes up with the formula, they do public participation. How I wish these senators could take time to listen to what Professor Kamari said. She said she was in Parliament and as members of Parliament, they made a mistakes, which is very okay. This was something new which was coming. We were prone to making mistakes, but when we make a mistake, we have to correct. What did the Senate do? The one of 2016, they slept on the job. They did not correct on this and that. So what the Revenue Commissioner for Revenue Allocation has done, it has gone back to the statute and found what were the factions which were devolved. And they say this faction will take this money, this will take this percentage, take this percentage. So if they do not understand, I will urge them to call a Kamukunji, call for the Commissioner for Revenue Allocation, come and take them through so that they don't waste people's money. And some of these senators should know, the money which they earn does not come from where they come from. It comes from the taxpayers' money. and we want them to do a clean job.
Right, very well, Doctor. I don't know if you're able to get you there.
It's Karen.
All right.
Sorry, Miriam. Karen, your comment, your opening comment.
Well, what I can say here is that the politicians have put their selfish interest before the country, and like we say, they are trying to connect it to the 2022 elections and all of that. They have refused to use. We talked about this yesterday. They have refused to use data to argue their case. What they're doing is.
Go ahead, Karen.
What I was trying to say is that the politicians have put their selfish interest before the country, and they're trying to relate this whole issue to connect it to the 2022 politics, and have refused to use data. We talked about this issue yesterday. They have refused to use data to argue their case. So to argue their case against the proposed formula. So some are being dishonest and unprincipled when it comes to this whole debate. Now, because of this delaying thing that they've been doing for some time, we've had operations in this country, in these counties, reduced to bare minimum, and they cannot even see that. Apart from these operations being reduced to bare minimum, we've had issues to do with salaries being delayed. They can still they don't see that as well. So whatever it is that they are after, their personal interest or whatever it is, they should consider the what is happening in these counties right now, currently, now that these resources have been delayed for some time. That is all I have to say, Dr. Ray.
Thank you very much. You brought it. The more they dilly-dally, the more they go under the table and they see under the belt, then come up and go back, the more counties will suffer. Major retired Bijiwe, parting short.
I want to urge our senators to back off from this, and this matter is beyond them. Yesterday, Dr. Matanga, in the background, while you were taking a break, I had a very close discussion with the Professor Jared and our other colleague, Betsonga. And you said you were listening. And we went through an array of options that the president has. One is if this impasse doesn't end, the president can invoke executive order and allocate funds to the counties, because the counties are running out of funds. As we speak now, a friend of mine in Meru County, I come from Meru, I'm 012, County 012, Meru County. A friend of mine who works at the county assembly told me that they have not been paid their salaries for the months of June and July. This is very serious. Now, in this COVID-19 times, things are tough. And this is the situation all across the counties. Governors cannot pay salaries. And now the little money that was there has to be allocated to healthcare. It has taken it all. Soon you will start seeing healthcare workers in the counties, downing their tools and saying we aren't going to work because they have no money. The longer this impasse stays, the more we get hurt. And so I will ask the president to bypass this. I'm sure he has the backstops with him. If I may use the word veto, he has the veto power to override and bypass all these procedures and issue an executive order allocating funds to the counties. If not so, the senators then have to do their own kampunji, come together, put country first, put away 2022 politics, and then I think each senator also owes allegiance to the people who elected them. It's interesting. Some senators are speaking for regions that did not elect them. It's time everybody speaks for who elected them. Politics is local. I know they want to look very nationalistic. Maybe some of them have utopian ideas of presidency and other such like things. But it is time the senators also stand with the people who elected them. If you came from Mandera, stand with the people of Mandera. If you are elected from Meru County, stand with the people of Meru County. If you're elected from Kisumu County or Homa Bay County, stand with those people. Stand with them. What the people are saying. Look, democracy. What is democracy? Democracy is where majority have their way, yet the minority have their say. Politics is about to get what, where, when, and how. So these are politicians should not try to be like magicians, doing all things at the same time, speaking with the both sides of the mouth, pleasing this side and pleasing this side. It has to come down to raw politics. And when it comes down to raw politics, it's resource allocation. You don't get elected in Nairobi and go to allocate resources in Mandera. Let's be truthful about this. And it doesn't matter how utopian your thoughts or ideas of becoming future leader are. Life is not lived in the future, it's lived now. It's about now. Life is today. I don't care what you think you want to be, Senator. Oh, Minatakwa president, so I have to sound nationalistic. My friend, we will use the record of your local performance to judge your idea for presidency. So I ask all senators to go back to their people everywhere in the country. Go and ask the electorate, munataka pesa igawe namna gani? What the electorate tell you, come back to Nairobi, present it. Let's take a vote. The majority wins. That is democracy. If you don't like democracy, look for another way of doing this thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam.
All right. And
before you leave, Major retired,
Yes,
Sakaja's motion does one big disservice to the people of Kenya. Sakaja's suggestions are arbitrary, very arbitrary. Nobody has been consulted on Sakaja's motion, proposals. The CRA has not been consulted. Public participation is not there. His motion is from a nightclub and a poker joint and a meat joint where he was caught while drinking and arrived there with a motion. No Nairobian was asked. Miriam stayed in Nairobi. You stay in Nairobi. Onyari stayed in Nairobi. My sister there stays in Malindi. But the Nairobians who pay taxes were not consulted by Sakaja. We would like to know where Sakaja held a meeting to consult the people, to go and tell people, to go and tell the Senate that this is how the things should go. Even denying Nairobi itself money.
Well, Dr. Matanga, you saw one morning, we woke up all around the city, there were banners hanging everywhere. You read city residents telling their senator that you have let us down. We elected you to represent Nairobi, you're representing NFD, Northern Frontier Districts, the counties of the Northern Frontier. I think, and recently when there was talk of the party line, being told and people senators being forced to toe the party line, Sakaja, hid in his car in the basement of the KICC to wait for the debate because he did not want to go anywhere that he can be, forced to toe the party line. So I'll just say to Sakaja and to senators who think like him, you are elected to represent your people, not other people, not other counties. You are not senator for the other county. You are senator for the county that you are elected in. You're going to stand with the wishes and the aspirations of that county's people. If you think you represent another, or rather the views of another county, then move and become the senator of that county. What is democracy? I've defined it again. It is the majority having their way and the minority be given the right to have their say. When that is done, the vote is cast and the majority wins. That is democracy. If you don't like it, change the form of governance. That's my take, Dr. Matang.
And furthermore, the suggestion is against of Sakaja, against the principles of equity, because so many Kenyans here have been telling people equity, 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 as if it is Equity Bank. They think you go to Equity Bank. Time has come to educate people what equity is.
Yes, equity is not equality.
It's not equality, exactly. And the equity, the criteria that the Constitution put under Article 203 is very clear. 2031 of the Constitution of Republic of Kenya, which is the criteria under which equity can be referred to, does not meet Sakaja's motion. We went to school, not the school of Sakaja. Yes, this is bemeaning some brains like us who have studied even beyond the hard way. You look at Article, Miriam, read it for the people, Article 203, subsection 1. This is a lecture before Mijiwe leaves. Read and see. Ndio waambie watu ya Meru kesho, huyu mjamaa ya maua, huyu Kinturi, sijui what is called Kinturi, who cannot do domestic science. You see, look here. Some of us speak like this because we are able to do domestic science. I will end there. Read 203. We are able to do domestic science. If you see a man who speaks proudly, it means he does domestic science. Domestic science in school. Didn't you read this? You people are laughing, two of you. Didn't you read domestic science?
No comment.
The act of ironing, the act of cooking, the act of cleaning the toilet, the act is domestic. And then you go further.
Don't go to the bedroom, leave it there.
Yes. So, please, we did domestic science. That's why we speak with pride. Unaona watu wenye wabado kufanya domestic science wanazungumza sasa na wanani. Angalia hawa kwa machao. He will not face you. Men who have done domestic science go public like us. Yeah, Miriam, 2031. Read it.
All right, Article 203 in the Kenyan Constitution, also known as Equitable Share and Other Financial Laws, subsection 1 says the following criteria shall be taken into account in determining the equitable shares provided for under Article 202 and in all national legislation concerning county government enacted in terms of this chapter. And A says, this is the criteria. Number 1 is the national interest, and number 2, any provision that must be made in respect of the public debt and other national obligations. So these are things that they have to, there's Revenue Commission has to look at before it determines the sharing of the allocation here in the country. So number 3, or rather C, the needs of the national government determined by objective criteria, and D, the need to ensure that county governments are able to perform the functions allocated to them, E, the fiscal capacity and efficiency of the county governments, and F, developmental and other needs of the counties, G, economic disparities within and among counties and the need to remedy them. I think that will be equitable funds or something like that. And then H, the need for affirmative action in respect of disadvantaged areas and groups. And then I, the need for economic optimization of each county and to provide incentives for each county to optimize its capacity to raise revenue. And J, the desirability of stable and predictable allocations of revenue. And K, the last one, the need for flexibility in responding to emergencies and other temporary needs based on similar objective criteria. So that will be the criteria according to Article 203 of the Kenyan Constitution on how the division of revenue should take place. This is what they should look at account. So when you see, Doctor, you've mentioned, yeah.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you. Thank you for reading. I want to pick one thing. And let Sakaja listen to me. Let Speaker Lusaka listen to me. Economic viability. Economic. You saw the last one, but please, not the one, economic viability. Is the airport in Isiolo economically viable? Miriam, read that economic viability for the people.
I think that would be the need for economic optimization of each county and provide incentives for each county to optimize its capacity to raise revenue. So what they're saying essentially is every county should be empowered.
Yes, but it has to optimize the capacity to show that it is able to deliver. 7 years, Mr. Mijiwe, you would be flying to Isiolo, then drive to Meru.
Yeah.
Do you fly to Isiolo?
Well,
no, do you fly to Isiolo?
No, I've not done the flight, but the airport is ready now, and there used to be one flight before COVID-19 every Friday, so yes. I don't think that has resumed. But the road from Meru to Isiolo, the shortest, is terrible. It's terrible.
Okay. 7 years, money has been pumped. 7 years, there is an abattoir in Isiolo. Have they optimized? The government has optimized the resources, but has the county optimized itself?
No.
Why is Isiolo bringing animals to Nairobi to slaughter when they have a slaughterhouse
in an international airport in Isiolo now?
That's economic viability. You don't give money to trees. You can't give money to trees. You can't give money to a desert. You can't give money to buildings or landmass. You give money to individuals.
As I live, Meru County has 1.4 million residents.
Yes.
Our sister county, TNC, the Rakanithi, has less than 400,000 residents. If you give both counties the same amount of money, haven't you marginalized the Meru people immediately? If you say both of you take 10, so 10 goes this way, 10 serves 400,000 and 10 serves 1.4 million. Where is equitability here? Or rather equity here?
The spirit of national participation, of consultation was killed. Nowhere has Sakaja told anyone in Nairobi that we are going to lose 10 million, 1 billion or 5 billion out of the allocation. He has gone there arbitrarily, alone, with his drunkenness, drunk as he is, delivered a motion on the floor. Nairobi people need more water boreholes, more roads, more good service, more places where they can throw dustbin, the dustbin where they can throw litter. You go down this way. Those dustbins are now being made with concrete. There is no tin, no metal, concrete. So it will remain there milele na milele. That is thinking. So Article 2031 knocks out motion number 1, notion number 2, notion anything else. This is Nturi, Linturi, and Sakaja motions. Get out. The only motion is the motion of Were.
Because she's referring
But
to
anyway,
the second generation formula.
it says, just leave it. Let's give the money today and defer, and then we go back to consult. I think when they had that, guess what? They disappeared in the woods. And they have postponed the sitting of today in the evening until Monday. Miriam, I think we have a voice on Punchline Africa TV. They cannot hold the meeting today. You can see Murkomen is fuming why the meeting was cancelled. That is all. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Major retired Mijiwe.
Thank you. Goodbye. Enjoy the show, gents.
All right,
The
thank you so
final
much.
show, the motion should not go on. Thank you. We are joined by Sin Wesonga. He is not seeing us, but when he's alive, we shall come back. I send you back to Miriam in Nairobi. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And perhaps, Doctor, you've mentioned there that perhaps any motion that perhaps is viable at this point is that one of Ms. Were, and Ms. Were is seeking the approval of the House to have the second generation formula retained in sharing of the 316.5 billion Kenya shillings to devolved government in this financial year. So let's just look at these formulas. We have the first one, the second generation, and now the third that is under, dispute right now as we speak. So the first formula, the first generation, approved in November 2012. By the way, I'm reading from the Daily Nation, page 6. They have that there. It says approved in November 2012 and used to share 956.736 billion Kenya shillings between 2013 and 2017, leaned towards population, which is 45%, and poverty, which accounted for 20% of how those revenue was shared. And the second generation formula approved in June 2016 and used between 2017 and June, retained the population parameters to 45% as allocations, and due to poverty gap, reduced to stand 18%, and with an equal share of 26%. Land area, county fiscal responsibility were retained at 8% and 2%. And now in a departure, this is the third formula, the third generation formula that is under dispute right now. CRA introduced functions-based allocation model in the third basis of the 316 billion Kenya shillings allocated to counties. CRA wants regions to get a minimum share of 20% based on health, and to take 17% agriculture, 10% other county services, 18% land, 8% roads, 4% poverty levels, 20% others are urban services, which will take 5%, fiscal effort 2%, and fiscal prudence, that is 2%, and fiscal effort, this is how much revenue can a county be able to get for itself, and fiscal prudence means how well has the monies that are being allocated to counties, how well have they been spent by the counties. So that is just about it. So we see, Doctor, in this third generation formula, population here has not taken so much of the percentage as we look at the second generation, which population accounted for 45% of how that money was being distributed. And on the first formula, also 45% was considered. So Ms. Were wants to take us back to the second generation, where population actually was under consideration at 45%.
Yeah, I mean, that's a better way. Look at the population, isn't it? You are not going to give money to buildings. You are not going to give money to trees. You are not going to give money to camels, horses, goat, sheep. No. Does the sheep know how much medicine you have to buy to spray it in order the ticks to go away? Does the sheep or the cow knows that there is a tick on the body? Who sees the tick on the body of the cow? It is the herder, is the owner of the cows who knows that there are ticks that are eating the cow. So if you are talking of we in the northeastern, we where your cows are looked after by human beings. Cows don't look after human beings. Yes, a hospital does not look after the human being. A human being paints the hospital. A human being builds the hospital to the capacity of the population. It does not build a hospital for trees to come and align in the morning. The doctrine of population is a doctrine of economics. What is the study of economics? What is economics? Those who have quick dictionaries can look, what is economics? Does economics tell you, you give money to trees? Economics tells you to cater for the environment, thereby preserving Mao forest, allocating funds for Mao forest. Economics does not teach you that give money to trees in Mao forest. It tells you preserve the trees, prune them, get men to prune them. You see, that's economics. Thank you, Kami Diniwesonga.
Yes, very thank you, Dr. Matsanga and the rest of the panelists, Miriam Oputu. I just wanted to perhaps also stress on the point that you are talking about economics. You know, in economics, if, when they are measuring the poverty index, they never go to regions looking at the geographical features of a region. They go to individuals, they look at the households. There is where they're able to calculate the poverty index, where they're able to calculate the welfare of the people. So even when it comes to income distribution, whatever they look at is the expenditure, the expenditure per every household on certain goods is where they are able to calculate how these people are earning, how these people are spending, and therefore they can be able to derive poverty index or maybe the welfare of the people. So I do strongly agree with Dr. Matsanga and the rest of the panelists that when sharing these revenues, they need to look at households. They need to look at individuals. And also, it has been perceived that some counties have been marginalized. But looking at yesterday's newspaper when they did an absolute analysis of people living below the poverty line, it came out clearly that some counties that have been assumed to be better off are really the ones which are suffering, and the majority of the population is living below the poverty line. And like these are the counties which have been for the longest time perceived as the marginalists. So we need to look at people. We need to look at how people are earning their income per person by person. Just the same way we go to the ballot, you vote as an individual, one vote, one man. That is how we ought to go about it. Mm-hmm. I really support the discussion.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We can see the Kiriga. My friend Kiriga, you can come in. Allowed. Let him come and we debate. That's very good. Stephen, once he's ready, bring him in. But let him. Yes, thank you. Kiriga, how are you?
I'm doing well.
We cannot see your face.
Oh, let me.
We want to see you. We want you to be the people's TV everywhere.
Oh.
To join us.
Okay.
Yes, even if you have divergent view, don't worry. We want you to come here. Aha, Asante Baba. Now that I was explaining. Thank you. I am coming to you, but let me explain what economics is. What is economics? It is a branch of knowledge concerned with the production, consumption, and the transfer of wealth. Mark those three words: production, consumption, and the transfer of wealth. 2, the condition of the region or group as regards to material prosperity. Material prosperity. If you are not producing mineral to export, to earn a living, do we give you money for free? Do people give you money for free? Tuambiane ukweli jameni. You produce mineral, you send your product, you sell. Many people buy those cars that run very fast. They create employment. That is what we are looking for. But you cannot have one region kept quiet, sits down, waits for money, and then there are few people, they can go to one dispensary. You want to give them money for 2,000 dispensary. Who do use the other hospital? Who do use the other hospital? If you give Ishoro people 5 hospitals of 5 level 5, who will go there?
But they don't want 5. I think one will be okay.
No. Because according to this, they want 5. They want 5 hospitals when there are 300,000 people. D. Kiriga, come in, sir.
Thank you, Masanga.
Yes, go ahead now. Tell us your view.
I listened to Senator Mwaura yesterday in Senate, and his arguments were just the way you are putting it.
Yes.
Ideally, why should we put more resources and more money in areas where we really don't have people? So that is a big argument. How do we go about it? And my support is to put resources and money where people can be able to use it. Otherwise, money will be sent back to Treasury every year, and there will be a lot of loopholes for money to be misused. That is my view. That is my view.
Thank you very much, Kiriga. Most of the governors in these minority areas are in court for corruption. All of them. Because we gave them a lot of money. The governor of Samburu came to Nairobi to build houses, apartments. He was a pauper. He's now a landlord with apartments. 100 people looted money. He's in court. This is money that is flowing. Yet this money is needed in Meru to develop roads in Meru, where there is a big population. This money is needed in Kakamega, where Malala is crying of the shackles. Shackle. What is it called? He wrote a play called The Shackles of Doom. Why was he writing The Shackles of Doom? It's because these people were not receiving the services. Now, Senator Malala, cheap as he is, he came back in the Senate to say we needed to take money away from Kakamega. I saw that one. If he gets the governorship next year, it will be, God will help him.
Yeah.
The governor of the senator of Elengaya Marakwet, he helped his tribesmen from the dams, Emerald and the Cameroon. They bought pickups. They bought spoons, cutlery, suka, blanketi. Wanachukua kwa Dolphin Hotel Mombasa. Dolphin Hotel Mombasa. Wacha tuambiane ukweli. Why should money for the dam buy bed sheets? When Chinoti, the DCI director, called all the 100 businessmen to go to DCI, do you know what they said? They recorded a statement that they bought spoons. The boss told us to buy spoons. The boss told us to buy suka. The boss told us to buy underwears for the night dress for the hotel Dolphin. Tuambiane ukweli. Sasa Senator Murkomen jana juzi alikuja. He said the Kikuyus ate the money. Which Kikuyu took among those businessmen? Show me one Kikuyu who bought bed sheets. Show me. Wacha tuambiane ukweli. Those bed sheets were there to build a dam. That money of the dam, Kirika, we have lost. We have lost. Kenyans have lost. You will never get that money as long as Ruto tells us there is a bank guarantee. Ruto alituambia iko bank guarantee. Si ndio sasa uliza banka ile irudishe hizo pesa. Went to Maua market, connected data. Instead of coming with data from the school, the department that should give data, he just came and said, we need to equalize like this. Are you people in Meru ready to lose the money? Kiriga. Sam.
Mute.
You mute the phone.
Unmute.
Mute so that we hear your voice.
Unmute the phone.
Or unmute, sorry. I don't know. I am not an expert of these things. Unmute the phone. Toa hiyo kitu ndio tusikie. Okay, Professor.
Miriam did ask. The first generation was looking at population. What the third generation has done, it has looked at the factions which were developed. What does a population need? They need more money for agriculture so that they can be able to produce food for themselves and to ensure that the country gets food security. Very beautiful. The population requires health. That's why they have allocated more money for health. If the people of northeastern coast or Nyamira, if there are few, it means they need few hospital facilities. So those ones who are the number is high, they need more hospitals. The population needs water. Those who are few needs less water. It needs sanitation. It looks about the environment. So the current formula, the third generation, if we can be sober, Miriam, it is a great formula because they have gone back to the SEGU and said, what were the factions which were developed? What amount of money do they need? And that's how they have arrived on that. But when you look at it in Turi, Sakacha, and many more, have they looked at the factions which were devolved? We did not bring devolution so that the people that we get the money and just go and divide. No, we devolved so that the people, Miriam, get services. So that's why I'm in support on this. And I'm recommending they find their time and they go to Professor Kamal, because he seemed to have understood and then take them through. We can't take money to where people are not. And in fact, even they were them, and to show you that these members, the senators or members of parliament are sleeping. That's why they can even fraud the curfew laws, because they are doing even the wee hours of the night. Article 203 about the equalization fund, which talks about that those areas which were marginalized, they need water, they need roads, they need infrastructure. They could have been, and you know how much it is? It is 2% or 1% of the budget. It is huge money. And if I were them, that will be what their members of parliament from those regions, they will be pushing so that that part of the law comes out. So Miriam, that's how the Commissioner for Revenue Allocation, yes, that's how they arrived at it. And that's why they considered agriculture health, because those were the factions which were developed. And
should we adopt should we go the Miss Were way, then perhaps that will be going against the same article 203 subsection 3 down there says the amount referred to clause 2 up there shall be calculated on the basis of the most audited accounts of revenue received as approved by the National Assembly. So this should be based on the recent data. So should we go ahead and use what Ms. Were was proposing, that we will be contravening that part also?
Miriam, let me tell you, let me just be very honest. Mm-hmm. What Were and Kangata are trying to do, they are not confronting the problem as it is. They are trying to postpone.
So they're not essentially dealing with the problem.
No, they are trying to say that let us put the country together. Let us put the country together by agreeing on that one. Mm-hmm. The 2009 figures, population figures, were doctored. So we can't go to those formulas. Mm-hmm. So the least we can go is to use the current statistics from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Statistics, yes. Doctor,
so the point here is,
Professor, you're too bland. You're doctored. A lot of Kenyans had a similar feeling. Yes.
Yes, Professor Miriam, professors correct.
Yes.
100%. Tuambiane ukweli.
Okay.
The 2009 census, doctor, some people were not there. This woman of Samburu, the Senator of Samburu said, when they were doing census, they were looking for cows and the pasture. So, is it the problem of the government that when they have announced there will be census, you move and go to Somalia, then you come back with the cows? 2, Were and Kangata's motion seeks to stop chaos.
Yes.
That's it. Mm-hmm. They seek to stop chaos. So that we are not here with Kiriga and we fight over nothing. Let's wait. If the thing comes in the Constitution, in the referendum, we have BBI coming.
Yes.
You never know. People will ask people, do we use equalization fund system? Yes or no? Isiolo does not need the buildings in Meru. Isiolo needs boreholes and the tents. Ya Waarabu huko juu. Unaona Waarabu, an Arab and a tent and a borehole. Because they need water for the animals. They need a house. While the animals at night are sleeping, they also put a tent and sleep. But they don't need a permanent house in Isiolo. Do you need a permanent house in Isiolo? You are a nomad. You move with your cattle, with your camels, going to Taveta to fight Taveta people because you want grass. Now, why are you wanting a house? You sleep in your house only 2 days in a year. Do you need a house in Isiolo? You need a borehole. And that's what we need. People need a borehole. Masabit needs a borehole. The lady was saying that one school is 700 miles. So, do you build a school for 2 students? Or 10 students? You build a senior secondary school for 10 students. 10 students for a senior secondary school? When people in Kisumu, some of them are coming as far as Nairobi to look for senior secondary schools. Am I wrong?
But Doctor, some of these issues they're raising, actually, when it comes to education, when it comes to health, it is somehow they have a lot of credibility in terms of how they have access. Say, a student from my village has more access to schools compared to a child from those sides, and I think that is the truth. And when it comes to also health, the mothers over there, and we've seen a few documentaries when you watch even the local television, you'll see mothers have to walk for kilometers away to go for antenatal care and something like that. And so that has led even to a lot of child mortality. So that after President Uhuru Kenyatta came, some of these things have been trying to change, and I think devolution also has improved some of these services, but it's still not enough, to be honest, compared to some other parts of the country. Not that other parts of the country
we want this one to be addressed through processing funds.
So these issues they're raising, actually, they're legitimate concerns.
They are not.
Have you not seen children landing under trees in certain?
They can run under the tree. How many of them under the tree?
Miriam, a question.
Wait for Miriam. Tell me how many students.
Have you not seen the news item showing kids writing on their?
But how many of them?
So what I'm saying is, as much as maybe it's not a huge
Why
population.
don't we collect all of them?
So these are legitimate issues they're raising that perhaps we should find a way of addressing it instead of dismissing it altogether, because they are actually legitimate issues that should be
They have been
addressed.
given money. Miriam, they have been given money for 7 years. 7 years. 7 years. They have been collecting money. The money has been diverted for some other, the governor of Samburu. You mean in 7 years he could not build a primary school? He collected the money and they came and built apartments in Karen. He's in court.
And
they gave some of the money to his mafia boss.
And Doctor, because they'll continue using this.
The mafia boss who collects money.
Because they'll continue using these arguments to want more money. So how do we address these issues then of lack of schools, of lack of... Should the national government, how do we address these issues? Because they're still there, whether they steal the money or not, the people are still suffering and they are in need of these services. So how do we address that, Prof?
A very good analogy in your argument. And let me tell you, there's a school in Eldoret called Langas, the primary school. In that school, a single classroom has almost 700 students. And you can always tell the amount of strain teachers in that school have in terms of distributing the books, in terms of marking, in terms of even just supervising the students. It means that such particular school needs more resources. They need more classrooms.
But at least there's a school. At least there's a school there. Other places, there's not even that school.
Students there in Langas, you can understand the kind of, if they have one teacher in Langas school with 700 students, it means per class, it means that they need more resources, they need more teachers, they need more textbooks. It's just a similar case as a student in Northeastern in Lonyangalani who cannot be able to access a school because there's a further distance. Now you come back to the drawing board. Okay, how do we go around this? A student in Lonyangalani, they need a single school so that they can be able to meet that distance that they are moving. How do you allocate money? You allocate money to build a single school. And what is the number of students in Lonyangalani? There are maybe 400 students. So you allocate money equal to build a school for 400 students. You will have sorted that problem. You come back to Langas in Eldoret, where we have eight classes, and each class has over 700 students. So you look at it. How much do we need? We need more than double what we had in Lonyangalani so that we can be able to give equality to these students in Eldoret. So what did you do? You allocate double the amount you allocated in Northeastern to the students to handle it.
Yes.
Miriam,
Yes.
let me just come for your rescue. Miriam,
Yes.
you are 100% right.
We can't dismiss.
And I will be one,
Professor, we
one
cannot
man.
dismiss some of these things.
I will be the last man
Yes.
to disadvantage any child of Kenya who needs education. Education. Oh, listen to me, Daktari.
Let Professor
Listen.
finish.
Listen, Daktari.
No.
Hear my argument. I'm raising my argument. Let me just build my case. What I'm trying to say, Dr. Miriam, every child of this country is entitled to education. And it is the responsibility of the national government to ensure there is equitable development in this country. What these senators are missing, my friend, let me tell you, we are already fighting for 15%. If I were them, I would say, fine, we are very fine with this formula, but we want an increment of another 10% or 15%, so that it can be able to cater for those areas we are talking about. But what we are trying to do here now, we are not hearkening to the sense of reasoning. We are not reasoning. We are emotional. Let me tell you, the child in Orengayani, he needs to access education. So, and remember, let me tell you, corruption in this country, what he has done. What corruption has done in this country. Do you know, members of parliament have got money for CDF? What do they do with the CDF? So if a member of the CDF, member of parliament, he could say that, let me just develop a school here this year. I'm telling you, everything will be covered. But all the money is going for corruption, and nobody is following them.
Please, I want to make it very, very clear to both of you, Miriam and the professor, that we are not denying any child education. We want everybody to have education. But we want equitably to distribute that education.
Correct.
Distributing education equitably is different from distributing education injustice. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. If injustice is to be done to the children of lands who are for 200 in one classroom, because you have given Langas and Mandagos County very little money to build schools, and you have carried money, taken money to Samburu, which has got 40 students in a radius of 800 miles. 40. Are you not doing injustice?
You correct those students, put them together and build a school.
Now you are coming to what I'm saying.
That is, Doctor, that is what we said earlier, actually. You're coming
That's
to
what we are saying, Doctor.
That is what we've been saying. You just arrived at our point, but go ahead.
Your point is quite different.
It is
mine.
not. It is not. That is what we've been saying.
The point. The point here is this.
Yes.
You cannot give the children of Langas justice education when they are crowded in a classroom, yet you have sent 200 million, which is returned to the National Treasury from Samburu, because they have built only one school for the population of 2 children, 40 students, and they return the money to the Treasury in Nairobi. What is the rationale of return money? Makueni, for example, returned the money to the Treasury and they said, we don't have use for this money.
No, they were caught by the financial year.
Boss, please don't interrupt my argument.
And another argument.
Your case, we are making our case. The viewers will make judgment. The students in Langas are more.
They need more
than
classes,
the students
Doctor.
in Samburu or Mandera. The students in Langas go to classes. The classes are overcrowded in Langas. The classes in Samburu are not crowded.
They don't
Why?
have the classes in Samburu.
Why? Why are the classes not crowded when money was created for economics of the people, not trees? Was the money created for trees? The money was created for people of Langas to have service, so that the doctors in Langas, Mandako will train more doctors to go and train Langas, to train Samburu and Mandera. Why do we have teachers from Migori going to teach in Mandera? Why? Why? Because Mandela does not have the money power.
And so why?
While the teachers are teaching in Mandela,
Yes.
we want to bring them. It's like a stabilization.
Teachers are supposed to teach everywhere in Kenya, so that is
No,
according to the civil
wait,
servants.
Doctors are supposed to work everywhere, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so why are we sending doctors there? Because they don't have them. Why are we?
There were no schools for them to go.
Okay, fine. There were no schools. We built a school. You built a school for 40 students. Langas school has 800. A school has 800 with 4 classrooms. That means 200 in each classroom. How will that count a function? How shall we find equality? Professor, you are a professor now because you found equality.
Of education, he was offered.
Papa, you found equality. Mzee, wewe ulipata quality because Kissis are very clever. They go to school, they do mathematics, they pass. They are given a chance. But a student in Langas, in a school of 200 people, who shares, even sits on top of the head of the other student, can never be a professor tomorrow. Because he was not given a chance. Why should we waste money for hungry governors, sharks? Why do the governor of Meru, my friend, the governor of Meru wants more money to build more schools with the population of Meru, which is growing so fast. Then across Meru, Tarakaniki, it has 400,000 people. Tarakaniki produces very good results for elections.
A stronghold.
Very good results. You know, everybody in Kenya, when you talk about Tarakaniki, you will smile. They should be awarded for the good results.
They shocked us. But
yeah,
and Doctor, I agree with you totally.
Medium, another.
What you are saying, as I summarize, and I leave with Songa to buy, I am saying, Medium, devolution was a very good thing. But we moved some things without planning.
Very well. Very well.
We should have moved these things gradually.
In phases.
Correct.
So, all of us, let's not fight. We lost a war. We moved everything very fast. And we allowed the first governors to be very rich. The second governors are scrutinized. The first governors were very rich. They grew very rich in the money that they can overthrow governments. Nanok, in fact, Nanok can mobilize his people to overthrow a government. He has a lot of money. because accountability was not there.
Oh, yes.
Accountability has just come now.
Senate failed in its oversight.
Where Mzee Kenyatta, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, has put his feet down and said enough is enough. But in the first 5 years of devolution, this country lost a huge amount of money.
Yes. Sure.
Governor Ojomong of Busia almost ate the whole treasury of Busia County. Governor Kitero
Of Nairobi.
ate the whole Nairobi. How many times has Governor Wambura been in court?
He has 9 lives.
Let's mention the governors who have eaten money. Look at them. The only governors who have worked for their people. At least you can even insult Makau Mutua up to Angel Gabriel. But Makau Mutua, not Makau Mutua, Alfred. He has tried. He got a stadium. We play football. World-class football teams play there. Am I wrong?
You're right.
He's the only governor now who has got a hospital in case COVID comes, like the film. Have you seen the American film which kills? Where disease, the virus spreads while you touch it, spreads. If it comes, we have a problem. We have to defend one man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. You cannot tell people to go and vote for half a loaf. Tell me who in Meru, where Kiriga is, are people voting for half a loaf? Tuambiane ukweli jameni. In Malindi, do you vote for half a loaf? Mukati nusu, wapi? Buffalo mpene kumukati shishinza. How can you have a half loaf? Where in Jamila, boss, are you voting for half a loaf? Tuambiane ukweli baba. You are from Nyamira, do you vote for half a loaf? When you go to vote Kenyatta or Raila Odinga, did you vote for half a loaf?
For services.
Services which are half. If they told you that the services are going to be half, would you vote? No. This whole thing is making our heads go up and down because of the Senate. Senator, the Senate Speaker Lusaka, is hearing this debate. Buana, if you don't stop this debate for 2 years to come, you are done. They will come for you. This same senator, this man, Sakaja, Mulukomen are fighting Kangata because Kangata has been put there and they left office. Sakaja expected to be the leader of a whip, majority whip. He would have been found in a kiosk drinking or in pork, eating pork. I don't eat pork. Sakaja is fighting Kangata because of that. Because Kangata has a small body. But let Sakaja try with this huge body. He will see the fire. Yeah.
Doctor, I have a question for you.
Daniel,
You bring it.
Daniel had something
Bring
to
it
say.
on.
I want you to also address those areas where they were marginalized. They don't have schools. They don't have hospitals. They don't have roads, and they are few. How do we caution them? How do we help them?
Equalization fund. Increase it. Full stop.
Yes,
Give Chiambu the money with its population. Equalize those districts that you are crying for because you are a pastor and a chaplain. Cry for them.
Kenyan.
Yes.
I am not God. No.
The next question, Doctor. A very good answer. Why haven't we enacted equalization fund until 7 years now?
Increase the equality. Go back to parliament.
It is not there.
Why don't you go back to parliament? Go back to parliament. Is the Senate supposed to make a money bill? Is the Senate supposed to debate the money bill? Has there standing orders to debate the money bill?
Yes, and
no.
Professor, you know, in addressing these issues, we need to put everything in context. Just like every child in this country needs an equal opportunity in terms of education. Look, a school in Olympics here in Kibra, a child cannot be able to enroll in a school because the school has already been filled to capacity. A child in Shaurimoyo is faced with a similar problem. They cannot be able to enroll in a school because that such particular public school in that area, all schools in that particular area are filled to capacity. So what is the child lacking? Access to education, which is a right by the Constitution. Go to Mandera. A same child cannot be able to access school because of what? Because of the distance. Now let us bring it back to context. What do we do? A child in Kibra cannot be able to access a school because it is filled to capacity. Because what do we do to that? We build more classrooms. That is what Kibra needs. Let's give them money to build more classes. A child in Mandera cannot be able to access school because of what? Because of the distance between home and school. And for a fact, Miriam, we cannot be going to every village in Mandera because these people are sparsely populated. We build a school in every village. We cannot do that. How do you address that problem? We can come and we can mobilize resources so that we build a boarding school so that these children, and for a fact, these are children from nomadic communities that move from time to time to look for pastures and water for their livestock. So we can change this culture and tell them, if you want your children to access school, kindly, as you move with your livestock, bring your children to a boarding school so that they'll be getting education as you look after your animals.
That is
so we build boarding schools for them and bring these children to these boarding schools. But as well, give money to children in Kibra, in Shauri, and of course, if children in Kibra are many numbers and they need more classrooms, give them more money to build more classrooms. And if in Mandera we only need 5 boarding schools to cater for maybe 1,600 pupils, let us allocate an equal amount of money and do that. Another point, let's take for example in Mombasa, because Mombasa has a bigger population and a number of patients visiting a hospital, maybe like let's say 1,000 in a day in the entire county. So we build a hospital, a 5,000 capacity bed hospital in Mombasa. We shall be meeting that demand in terms of medical care in Mombasa, and that does not necessarily mean that we because of equality we go build another 5,000 capacity bed in hospital in Wajir. We shall be wasting resources. Because in Wajir, if you build a 5,000 capacity bed hospital there, you'll not have patients who will be visiting such a facility. Doctors will be sitting there even for a week without a patient coming in. So that is what we need to look at. Another thing also, we have to look at culture. These are people, if you go to somewhere like in Kajiado or Narok, these are people who are still going some way of transformation in terms of their culture. There are people who are still not even resonating well with allowing their girl children to go to school. Prior to that, boys will not even proceed to secondary education. Once you finish class 8, the family now tells you you are ready for marriage, you are not going to proceed. So before we even start building schools there, we have first of all to change the culture. We have to educate people on the importance of education. We have to work with the people in those counties, the stakeholders in education and the parents, and tell them this is the importance of education, and you are going to build a school here. So make sure that you release your children to come and get educated. Because if you build, sometimes if you can build a school in Kajiado or in Narok, and there will be no students who will come to that school. So those are some of the factors that we can be able to look at. We don't need.
Thank you.
He's offered some solutions there. He has.
Don't you want to thank Wesonga? I also opened up for Wesonga.
Yeah.
No, Wesonga offered solutions there. So that is
We are in agreement now.
We are on the same.
Miriam, you are happy?
Yes.
No, we are on the same emotion.
Because you are saying.
I'm with Dr. Matanga in this. And let me tell you, Miriam, in the Maasai land, where we have people who are nomadic, people who move with their manyatas, we don't need to build a level 5 hospital in some areas. What we do need is to have some mobile clinics. Yes, so that as people move with their livestock.
But Daniel, not all of them move. We have to understand. We are assuming every Maasai moves. Not all of them moves.
Mobile clinic, Miriam. Not all of them. In fact, Miriam, Wesonga.
We are assuming as if all Northeastern people move, all Maasai move. Not all of them.
Miriam has opened my brain now.
The women are left there with the children.
Miriam.
Yes.
One solution we can take to this Mandera, Garissa, Isiolo, Samburu.
I think
mobile schools.
We just find incentives to encourage them.
No. Mobile schools and the mobile teachers.
Boarding schools, I think.
Get a 4x4 caravans.
And
containers, caravan.
But doctor, that is not sustainable. We are looking for a permanent solution. I think what Daniel proposed there of boarding schools.
Until they grow to the capacity. Miriam, you read us 2031. Article 2031. My dear sister, you read. You told us.
Yes.
Capacity.
Miriam, Karen,
yeah, I know.
Karen, say something. Capacity to optimize.
I'll read that for you, Doctor, after Karen. I'll read that for you after Karen. Karen, come on in.
Capacity. They don't have the capacity.
Karen, capacity. Doctor is saying capacity. And mobile schools. Is that a sustainable solution?
Walimu, sikiliza. Corona is now taking us. In fact, I don't know why Magoha is wasting our time with his saliva. Why is Professor Magoha wasting time? Tell President Uhuru Kenyatta to start buying mobile schools. Mobile containers. Do you know there are 2 countries in Europe that have started buying mobile containers?
Doctor, we saw the container clinics, and you know what that happened. So
no, wait, ma'am.
Kenyans will be wary.
Where teachers can see 2 teachers, there's a blackboard, there are textbooks. You drive the car to a tree, under a tree. And the chairs are in the container, in the caravan. How many students do you have in Samburu?
And social distancing. Will that happen?
Miriam, you are diluting this suggestion. Tomorrow you are going to see the Minister of Education.
On that one, Dr. and Wesonga, you have also opened my mind. That we can start with mobile. Miriam, hear this.
Yes.
We can start with mobile schools and mobile clinics so that they can be able to catch up with the rest of the world.
The rest of the world? You mean the rest of Kenya? Karen.
Yes.
Come in.
The rest of the world. Miriam wants to stick us students in the Langas, students in the game. There are students in the game. Very many of them.
Yes.
They like education like hell. Every morning.
Like heaven. And doctor,
in fact, Dr. Masanga,
and enough
Dr. Masanga, what you are saying here